Poop. Let's see. I'll just hop in the voice chat just in case anyone wants to. Where? Something's wrong with my Discord sensitivity. Voice and video. This is... okay. Gotta get it. Okay. Alright. So let me see here. Normally I'd have my laptop or my second monitor or whatever nearby ready to look at chat. But I can just switch back and forth real quick if I need to. I have this really weird setup. So a lot of the changes I made are on Red's side of the map. I haven't copied them over to Blue's side just because I want to get all the red changes done and then copy them all over. I don't really know what the best way to, like the most efficient, fastest way to copy over something between sides is. This is why I like working with asymmetrical maps a lot more. But I'm okay with this. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Is it booling? It'll last. I don't think there's a whole lot different at last other than the fact that it's bigger, it's wider, and I still need to make the ceiling taller. That's... oh yeah, and I put these block... okay. Let's see here. I got this thing up here. Just this very odd structure. I could potentially even connect it to this side if I wanted to. I feel like that might be too powerful for attackers though. This thing's lower, this thing's blocked. Everyone's here. Oh, I need to buff up my ammo packs. I remember that was one thing I gotta do. I think buffing up the ones near the point will be enough. No. What is this doing? Fuck it, I'll copy it over later. Stupid overlay is being dumb. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy. Abide by our community guidelines. Wow. Need to make something to allow gamers to rise up onto this new gap between the train cars. How many friggin' grid squares is this? How am I gonna figure this out? You have returned. Excellent. Currently trying to make this ramp even. This did not work. Actually, yeah, that could work. Just trying to make it line up. Yeah, sometimes getting all the proportions correct can be difficult. I have this little thing rise up that lets you go between the train cars. That's just deleted for now. I imagine Lucrative is listening here, so I wanted to show you. I think you actually already might have partially seen some of the stuff I did before you went away. Last is bigger-ish. It's longer. Nice. It's longer. The ceiling isn't higher yet. I still need to do that. It shouldn't be too hard. Some of these other changes are difficult, sorta, mainly because I have to also do them on the opposite side, and I have to make sure that they're identical. You know, right off the bat, we got, excuse me, I fixed the grading. You just have to put a certain kind of brush inside the grating so that you can't shoot through it. I have this high ground thing, this little, I took the weird metal fence that was here before and just extended it into this kind of thin battlements that also extends over to here. So this could potentially serve as a nice high ground. I was also considering potentially connecting this end of the high ground to the concrete over here, but I feel like that might be too powerful for offense. Although actually, maybe, if this particular part, if this high ground bit becomes too powerful, I could then connect it, maybe, because it would give more accessibility. This thing is lower. Used to be like a bit higher, but now it's actually like just above the train car height. It's lower. This thing is blocked off, so you can't do the retarded high bomb. This area, this pathway is still here. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it. I'm trying to see what else happened here. Mid so far. Got this kind of odd setup here. I think you mentioned like rotating this particular door to be on a different face. I kind of did that, but then I also had this window because what I thought is, my thought behind it was, if you went through this door, you go through this door, if this window wasn't here, you would be directed to go out this way, and then you turn right, you don't even see the point, so it's, I don't know, I just thought it'd be weird if this was the only way you could exit out of this door. So I added this window here that has some cover to it that doesn't let you shoot all the way through it. That's meant to direct you more towards the point. And so that little window plus the choke are like the routes that direct you more towards the point, while these routes here and here, and well, this one is also more towards the point, but also to the battlements. And then these routes more here are directed more towards getting on top of the bridge. There's that. I'm trying to think of what else I've done so far. And right now I'm currently working on the bridge, making going between the bridge easy. There's a lot of missing pieces on Blue's side, and that's just because I gotta copy stuff over. So that is currently what I'm trying to figure out. Trying to figure out how to make this ramp even on both sides. should probably also double stack these crates to block the sightlines better. Is the top one still a shutter? The top door. Which top door? This one is a shutter. The outer one. The inner one, this one here, is no longer a shutter, mainly because, one, the shutter would clip through the wall here. It would still clip through the wall. It would clip through the ceiling, and also I just felt like, with it being at a different angle now, I just felt like having it be a shutter would be unnecessary. The top door that leads into lobby. Which one? I'm trying to think. This one's a shutter. This one's a shutter. This one's a shutter. And then this one was formerly a shutter, but it's not anymore. This one was never a shutter. This one was never a shutter. Neither was this or this or this. Mid to second lobby. Yeah. This door was the one that used to be a shutter, but it isn't anymore. There used to be 4 shutters that weren't on spawn doors. Now there's just 3 per side of the map. I still need to add cover up here because otherwise you'd be able to shoot directly across to the opposite side. And that's not the best. I also slightly adjusted the height of... Well, actually, I'm trying to think here. I'm going to take these crates. I'm going to double stack them to block the sightline better. And that should also make it... Because what I realized is, with how the collisions work on these train cars, a sniper could theoretically hop up on the coupler of the train and then hop up onto the crate, and then in the old... These roofs are slightly lower, you could shoot through a crack, a really weird crack, and be able to snipe into the sightline, which, yeah, this sightline is still pretty big. I'm not entirely sure how to handle it. I feel like it wouldn't be as bad of a sightline just because the only way a person could really have that big of a sight to it is if they're a jumping class and they get up onto the roof to shoot, and then that just kind of like, I don't know. I guess it would be really long for snipers shooting people from up there. I think the double stack is necessary if you change the roof height. Maybe not. But it could simplify things. Because this crate is like just barely player height almost. The other sightlines for sniper on the box are that bad. Let me do it from this side where you could have a more complete view. You'll be able to shoot into the window, which also lets you get to part of the shutter. Shoot to there, that's not that long. And that's blocked. And that's not that long either. But really the only big one that I could see being a problem is shooting through the window to part of the shutter, especially if someone pops it open. The jump could be cool. They can jump onto the box, but they can't get fully on top of the crate. Let me think if there's... I guess what I could maybe do is add some more cover fences to the boulder, so you can't shoot through the window from up here. I'm trying to think of what would be, if I did need to block the sightline, what would be a good way to dispatch of it without ruining the overall, or without, like, doing something massive. The only thing I could really think of was building another one, is moving this thing to cover this, but then, or having, the conundrum I have right now is I could have the one that would block sightlines while also preventing weird high bombs through the choke is to have 2 of these. Just the angle approach or just move it over. Something that could maybe work, although I'm not sure how much you'd like it, is if I made the choke, if I covered the top of the choke more, so it's kind of borderline indoors, but not really. And so the ceiling of the choke would kind of block whatever, but then you wouldn't be able to do proper high bombs through there, and it would make actually like rolling through it kind of not as viable, so that might not be a good idea. Maybe I could like block part of the high ground up here so you just straight up cannot shoot through it at all. And then also make sure there's cover all along this wall and along so you can't edge over and shoot through it either. I'm trying to think where the cover... I need to handle the cover over here anyway, so I just gotta do that real quick. Something like... I'm a tad bit confused. There's probably a more elegant approach as opposed to just putting walls up on the roof. Yeah, probably. The wall on the roof clear. With a wall on the roof, that spot would be nasty to push. I'd understand. Yeah, it would make it way harder to check the wall jump. But yeah, the wall jump would be at a better angle without a wall there. That too. I could pull the ultimate. I could go the ultimate hard route and just make this roof inaccessible, but that wouldn't be as fun. That would not be nearly as fun, I'd imagine.
Oh, you're in Discord.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this right now. I don't think making the roof inaccessible. I think it's a big part of the build.
Yeah. That's what I figured too. Let me see, actually, for a moment, what would happen if I just simply moved this process style wall blocker to better block the sightline. But then the problem there would be is that it opens up way nuttier high bomb opportunities, which I know sometimes is not a good idea.
Pretty far back though, so it might not be like super strong. But I don't know.
If I adjust, oh, it'd have to be a bit taller too, it looks like. Let me grab up something. What are these called? A spawner. Just for a reference height, real quick. A lot of times people use T-pose heavies to do this, but I just like to grab the spawn points. So this could maybe work. Just moving where the blocker is. Sometimes my
Yeah, I'm just looking at it.
So then from the roof, the farthest you'd be able to shoot, it looks like maybe would kind of be about where the packs are. That still seems a bit far. So then I'd also have to maybe drag it downwards a bit too.
Like, I don't think the problem with it isn't so much the sniper sideline, because if you know the sniper's watching it, like, you can just get off. I think it's more that, like, that area is such a good sightline for spam. Like, in terms of, like, trying to push it, it makes it, like, pushing that choke just seem not as good as the other options.
Right.
I mean, I still think you could somehow make it so that that door wasn't on the same, like, that choke wasn't on the same plane as the rest of the doors. Like, you know what I mean? I was kind of explaining it
Yeah.
yesterday where
I could
all of,
theoretically.
you could theoretically make it almost like a U-shaped choke or something like that.
Or like, maybe not necessarily a U shape, but like an S bend. Like I push this building back and shift this half of the choke over, and then have it kind of S bend a bit,
Yeah.
and then come back out.
The problem you get with that after is because if you're going to be holding near the point on two, so it's like hard because if you do that, if you're holding on the point near two, that's a really awesome flank route for the people pushing because the lobby door is right there on
Right.
the other side of the choke, so they can just run through the choke and get inside lobby, right?
Hmm.
I don't know.
Sometimes I think
It's a toughie.
it is a toughie. I feel like maybe it's one of those things where you'd have to see how it plays, and I have to take the most like
I mean,
I don't
you
know.
could still make if you make the blocker block the sight line, but still make it so you can bomb over top. Or I don't see why that would be a problem
You can
because it
still.
makes yeah. So if you can get over to like I don't know like bombing over top of it doesn't seem that strong because it's pretty far back.
You'd basically be bombing from the same place
And
anyway.
yeah, exactly. And it gives your soldiers an option to actually get someone off of that high ground pretty easily within a well executed bomb, which I don't mind. And then also, but if people push through there, it's still kind of choky with the roof, right? It's easy to spam and stuff if it's like spotted.
I think with this design, it would also make rolling out through the choke more effective because when I was doing it a bit before with the way I had it before, I would try to like do process style big jump sliding off the ramp, but I would end up hitting my head on the blocker a lot. But now it seems like you'd actually go flying over the blocker, so that could open up some better opportunities there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't even really look at the rollouts. I didn't really know. I mean, you could just leave it and see how it plays for now, I guess, and just
Yeah, what I wanted to do was take an option that would require the least like massive geometry changes, see how it plays, and if it doesn't play well at all, then I would make a really drastic change to the geometry.
yeah. I think that's a good idea.
You
That's
don't,
what playtests are for, right?
yeah, you don't want to
I just thought
unnecessarily,
like with that. I just thought with that thing so high, like that sideline is a bit insane.
yeah. Well, now hopefully
Is that fence you're putting on the bats area there too see through as well?
this wall.
Like you, the one you had like the fence you put up in front of your new door up there.
You're talking about the one I'm looking at right now, right?
Yeah.
This is the main reason for this one is to prevent you from shooting people on the opposite one because this
Yeah, I
one
know.
would be
So is
pretty
it see
far.
through? Is what I'm asking.
It's not well with the texture it has right now.
It
It
should. I think it should be see through because if you do that, that door is also useless because you can't see shit on middle. You know what
so
I mean?
so just
Like
make
you want to make sure there's visibility. Like the wall just being there is already doing its job that you want. Like there's no point making it opaque as well.
right.
You
Yeah,
know what I
so
mean? Like
so
even if it's see through, it's still gonna do its job.
yeah, so I'll just I'll delete that part and make it like one of these fence props
Well, you had
instead.
like a fence prop up there before, right?
I
It
did.
looked pretty.
I
It
did.
actually looked pretty good too. I thought it was fine. Like I thought that whole upper area was still fine. It just needed access. That's all.
There is access now. Oh wait, that's
Yeah,
the
there's access
process.
now. It looks good. Like I think it looks a lot better like that setup.
One thing I'm a bit concerned about is that I feel like the new design for this area, like with the three ramps, the window, how it's set up, I almost feel like it might be a bit too convoluted, almost.
I'd have to like actually run around on it to
Yeah. I try to avoid like maze-like or labyrinth-type designs or whatever when I try to do stuff. A lot of times when I'm playing custom maps people made, I encounter situations where you have to like, I don't know, like there's really windy terrain or U-turns, and it just like it can get confusing sometimes.
Yeah.
U-turns a lot of times are one of my like least favorite map things. Big pet peeve.
Yeah, no, I think I'd have to actually like walk around on it to see. I mean, just the way it was before, though, it just served no purpose because it wasn't really accessible, right? Like
Yeah,
it wasn't really easily accessible.
but now you can kind of do something with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like the biggest thing when it comes to competitive too is you want to make it so like movements are fluid, right? So like when I was looking at it, I'm a medic, so I look at it from that kind of perspective. If I ever get knocked off any of that shit, like on the original middle, like you're just
It would
on the
take
ground.
you 5 million years to get back up.
Yeah, you're just on the ground. You know, you don't really want that.
That should cover enough of the wall. Now I just gotta clip it properly because for some reason Valve with their big brains decide to make the collision boxes for all these fences different sizes. I don't know why. Clipping things manually is fun. That is sarcasm. It should be sufficient.
I'm super excited about this map.
Yeah, same, honestly. I besides the other 5 CPs, I was just like, you know, this could be all right, but and then I don't know what it was. I think it was just like taking a harder, closer look at how people are playing these.
Well, I think
these newer
from
maps.
just like seeing like how our maps have played and like just feedback from me, it kind of changes your perspective on how like to make an actual comp map, you know?
Yeah, you need like.
But the thing that's really good about this map, dude, is that it's still like really unique, but it's still like definitely got potential to play really well, which is like what you want. You want uniqueness to the map. I think this middle is insanely cool. Like I'm super into it.
Yeah, I was. I don't know. I didn't know exactly where I was going with that. What is going on with my voice right now? Something weird. I'm not entirely sure about is from the looks of things. It look well with this new thing that I didn't really consider until just now is as a jumping class you can now stand on top of this blocker and do things from it. I don't know how powerful that would be. I guess because since it's far away, it's a lot easier to dodge projectiles when the person firing them is 5 bajillion yards away.
Yeah.
So I guess it might not be that big of a problem if you're standing up there. Again, that might be another thing that you just have to test and see what happens.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting second to hold because of the shape of the map, right? Because like the choke is like the one that's closer to the lobby, and like the better holding of the high ground for the two is like away from their lobby, so it's kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, speaking of high ground, what do you think about this structure going on near the point?
I mean, it's definitely cool. I want to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
It's definitely kind of like something I had in mind though, just something you could like actually be on there though and contest them when they get up on that concrete, right?
One of the first things I was thinking of is like having a platform type thing extending more towards where this rock is, and then having a ramp from this door going up to it. But I felt like that would be too clunky. So,
no, I think like what you got there is fine right now.
Yeah.
It's interesting enough geometry, but also like.
But not like good. Obstructing what the
and it's not too strong
was.
It's not too strong of a high ground either.
Yeah, because it's short and it's small, so you can get knocked off it pretty easily, and it doesn't have any like packs or anything on it.
Yeah.
I'm still wondering, should I connect this end of it to the concrete over here?
No.
No. Right.
Just leave it how it is for now. Don't do anything crazy. Like just do the simple changes, right, and then we'll get it tested, and then we'll see what people say,
right? Still got to work on some of the stuff I was doing over here. I just make this kind of brush ramp that would let you get up on top of the trains easier. I need to.
Yeah, that looks really cool. Actually, I was looking at that. That little like ramp that kind of goes like flush with the middle of the train. I think that's really neat.
I need to adjust it. I have to adjust it in such a way that it's like an even. I wanted to have two ramps on either side. It might not be necessary though, just because you have this thing going on with the crate over here. So there's just kind of this weird segment over here. I'm not sure about.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. You could honestly just extend that block and not all the way to the box, because then what I'm thinking, right, is that since you have the ramp on the attacking side, you could.
You have
It's
the
a
ramp
more
on
of
the
an
attacking side, and you have the train coupler on the other side.
right. So what I'm saying is, if you take that block and actually just extend it all the way along the bridge to the box, then you can actually use that as aggressive route to get around the train if you want to, which could be kind of cool. But on the other side, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not as accessible because you have to jump over the box, like do 2 jumps to get over the box.
Yeah, and each team has their own version of that conundrum.
Yeah, exactly. So then on the other side, you would put the ramp for them. So like the ramp is only on the attacking, like their side of the map, you know?
Yeah, it has like a
I think that could be kind of cool.
It has like a nice
try.
balanced.
And it gives you room for doing something fun with some aesthetic or something like that, you know?
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird because you wouldn't normally see this kind of thing on a bridge, especially with how close it is to where the train cars are. But you know.
No, I know that's why I think it's so fun. Like
gameplay first.
So, yeah.
Well, we'll figure it out later.
I think that makes it smoother though, because I think that gap between the box and the other side of the ramp is like kind of weird. So like if you just smooth it right out like that, I think that's better.
Should there be a smooth transition to getting on top of the box, or would it be fine just hopping on top of it from the side?
I think it's fine because you don't want it to, like. Yeah, I think it's fine.
All right. Yeah. Let me just mirror this to the other side. I also got.
Although, can you get on the corner of that now and see over the box into that choke? That's something we're gonna have to check.
Can you see?
You know what I mean? You see, so where you extended it to meet the box, right where it meets the box, can you stand on that corner, like right where it meets the box, and look into the main choke there?
This one?
Yeah.
It looks. I did adjust some of the walls here, but there's like a sliver that you can in fact shoot through. So
yeah, that's interesting.
I could find an alternative to that. I was thinking, you know what?
I don't think the sliver is that bad. It's more of like if you push that route. Like I'm trying to think because you can go the upper route into the lobby, right?
I guess the sliver wouldn't be that bad, especially. Oh.
That's really not that bad because you need some sort of trade-off for using the very open choke to get in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the fact that it's just a sliver and not a whatever actually makes it more balanced because then it's way more predictable as to where the sniper's gonna be. They kind of have to be in this like 1 or 2 spots for you to.
Yeah, I think it could be fine actually. Just leave it for now and then see if anyone abuses it in playtesting.
Yeah, if it really gets abused in playtesting, then we'll definitely.
Because like even if they're being spammed there, like they need to be punished in some way for using that choke. And also, if you peek that choke and you see that person on the box, you can easily just go into the lobby instead.
Right. Yeah, you can duck through the door, or you can just back out.
Or you can just use the upper route.
Yeah, you could back out, use the ramp. I feel like I should add like some crates or something here so that you could jump on top of the train bumper and then hop up onto the ramp without having to go to the very start of the ramp.
Yeah.
People don't typically like crate jumps, but I feel like it'd be out of the way enough that it wouldn't be that much.
Yeah, but it's also it's good because it's not a straight route, but it's like if you do want to double back, it's good. I agree with that.
Yeah, let's put.
Or maybe you could use some cool like little train prop you could jump on there or something. I don't know.
I mean, the train prop that's already there is the bumper. I just have to like fill in that gap to make it a better jump. It really only needs like 1 or 2 crates, maybe another crate to complement it. Like this, perhaps. I think you can jump on top of that. It might be slightly too high, but I'd have to test that for sure. Or I could, you know what? Actually, it might be better if I just grabbed a barrel from over here. Oh no, that's too short now. let's just do that for now.
The wonders of map making.
Yeah, if I can't crouch up onto there properly, I can always cycle through different props and figure out which one would work there. And if none of those work, I can just stick a weird extra brush there and figure out what to do with it later. That's the miracle of dev textures.
I'm really excited to see how this map looks like when it's like actually like aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's gonna be really cool, man. I'm so excited.
I gotta fill in this gap in the train cars because I'd hate for people to be walking in this middle area and then they try firing rockets and they get caught underneath the train cars or something stupid.
Can't you just like flatten it? Oh, I see what you're saying. Can you
Uh,
just like clip it so the shit's not passable so it just splashes? I guess that's kind of weird though, isn't it?
I mean, it would be kind of weird, but it would also, I feel like it wouldn't really be that noticeable in actual gameplay because, I don't know. I feel like
Yo, fill it with coal, like coal from a train.
fill it with coal.
Yeah,
I'll
can you
put
do that? Is that possible? That would be like an elegant way to do it that kind of fits the train thing. It would make more sense for trains. I don't know.
what I can do, I'll put the clipping in there and then I can grab a displacement thing and put a little lump of coal in it.
Yeah, like just like it'd be cool if the dead like all the space in there could just be filled with coal, like some weird coal textures or some shit. I don't
Let me just hide. Let me just hide some stuff real quick so I can actually see what I'm doing on the grid. It takes a little bit of finagling.
This shit is crazy, man. I probably would never have the patience to learn how to map.
To be honest, I didn't think I would either, but I don't think it's necessarily about patience so much as it's about persistence. Like I think I can't remember exactly when I started mapping. I'm trying to remember. I think I started mapping like maybe a year and a half after I got into TF2, and I got into TF2 I want to say about when the Panic Attack came out.
Oh,
I think
okay.
like around then, maybe. And a lot of stuff I made first. First stuff that I made was not good at all. Hell, you could if you wanted to right now, if you're bored or something, you could look through my TF2 map history and look at some of the awful garbage I made in the past. I have some not awful garbage there that isn't competitive maps as well, but I have there's some interesting stuff. Just strange. I wonder if there actually just straight up is a coal texture. There is.
Yeah, there should be, right? I've definitely seen like coal on a map before.
I was just making sure it wasn't like a custom thing that I don't have.
Yeah. Isn't there like coal props? Isn't there like black rock props? Isn't it?
There might be. I think the lumps of like sediments and stuff like that people use are actually displacements, like ground displacements or whatever, and not props. Yeah. I could be mistaken though.
I feel like I've seen it before. I don't know.
Oh shoot. You know what we can do? We can just be like, you can just
like that.
Not even bother making it a displacement right now. I can make it look pretty later.
Yeah, can you just you can just do that? Yeah, exactly, and then just fill it with like that coal texture shit. Yeah, yeah.
And then gotta make sure all this weird angled stuff is funk details. Trying to think what else is going on here. Oh, these things are on the opposite sides. The wrong team colored sides. Let's fix that. Okay. Nice. I'm trying to think what else. Let me check my document real quick. Accessibility mid-ramp, that's done. Or no, wait, no. My unbold stuff that I've already done. I think I handled ammo better. I gotta get the ceiling on last. I think the last things I gotta figure out is thinking in the future how I could potentially scale down mid. I gotta adjust the ceiling on last. And then I gotta copy all the stuff I changed to the opposite side. And then I think it might be good to go then, unless you have some other stuff you just thought of.
No, I think like all that stuff I suggested to you makes it playable. I'm like gonna kind of reserve myself to see how the last plays, but I'm still really worried. I'm like mostly worried about the last.
I can definitely see it because it's with the similarities to Badlands, I can definitely see where the worry would come
Well,
from.
the problem with Badlands last isn't the last; it's the lobby. That's what makes it hard to push out of. It's not necessarily the last per se. This last to me looks really easily defendable to me. Just because like the backside of the point of I don't know. Maybe it's easy to attack and defend. Maybe it's just a huge clusterfuck. I don't know. It's
I would
hard to tell, right? Hard to tell.
I would hope there would be a balance between it being easy, between difficulty attacking and defending. You generally want it to be, like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean, it depends on the rest of the map and like what you want the style of the map to be. If you want the last to be harder to defend, that's not a bad thing. You just got to make it possible.
Oh, well, I mean that's general. I mean that's typically how the balancing these things is anyways. I feel like isn't it, it's usually like the mid is the easiest to attack and the last is the hardest to attack. Because that's just naturally how it would be. Whatever point is closest to your last spawn is probably going to be easier to defend than the one
Yeah.
that's right in the middle of the map. See, making a lot of these changes on this side of the map is the easy part. But actually doing them on both sides of the map is hell.
Yeah. I mean, if the map actually becomes too hard to defend at last, I really would consider moving it back and even just straight up opening it up on the top.
Oh, just like not even having the top of the tube.
Yeah, just having it open. If it's too hard to defend, we'll have to see how it goes because it's open at the back, right? It's open at the back and the front.
Yeah. It's open the back, the front, and this top part, but not the very top.
Yeah, like it's just like so. How it works is that most of you want your scouts to pressure the point, and I just think it's really hard for a scout to pressure this point. But we'll have to see.
I feel like this particular design would definitely like you really have to see how it goes because this is like it's the Badlands thing, but it has the back of the tube is opened up, and that was the one of the things that people were suggesting
Yeah,
in there, and I feel like a lot of 5CPs I feel like a lot of 5CPs that have these tube designs haven't had this kind of thing yet or that often or I don't know.
yeah. We'll just have to see how it plays on the last. Honestly, feel like it's going to be the thing that gets changed the most. If I'm being honest, so
Yeah, I
we'll just have to
definitely
see what people. We'll have to see what people say.
lasts in general are not my strong suit in general, so I'm not surprised with
Also,
that either.
I do have a suggestion though.
Hmm.
You, I think that you should I think you should do it on the last so it's not cappable if you're like juggled up at all, not blockable. You know what I mean? You can see like on the cap zone there, it's a little bit higher. So even if you're dropping down on it or if you like get juggled up a little bit, you could probably still block it if your feet are in. You should almost make it so it's you could still cap it if you jump on your own, but if you get like launched up, you shouldn't be able to block it. I don't think.
Like how far knocked up?
I guess you could leave it for now and just see how it is and just keep that in mind for the future. But like I think what would make it easier is if you could juggle people off the point like really easily to cap it. You know what I mean?
If I
Because
just
then they have to commit into the point as opposed to just like sitting in the tube and then dropping down. You
Yeah,
know?
if the capture zone is just not as tall, then you could definitely be juggled way easier out of the capture area.
Maybe just leave it as like what you just did and just see how it
Just
goes.
slightly shorter like that.
Yeah,
That
just
would
see how it goes.
hopefully that's enough. But if it's not enough, then I can always adjust
I
it.
just think it may be an interesting mechanic to see how it helps like capture. You know.
Right. So now,
Also, do you have ammo on last?
oh, ammo on last. I think I need to adjust
Or do you
ammo.
have to? Yeah, you hate ammo, bro.
I made the small ammos at mid. Well, the ones that were
Yeah.
closer to the point into mediums.
My opinion on ammo in competitive is like don't shy from it because like there's no point really. Like ammo management isn't really a skill. Like I wouldn't really consider it a
Right.
skill.
But
So
health
I mean,
but health is way more important.
yeah, health is way more important, but I think you can kind of splurge on ammo packs more in my opinion.
Yeah. On last I have this medium one over here. This is kind of like the defenders. This is kind of like the gully wash ammo pack.
Yeah,
You have the
that's
small one over
fine.
here. You have this small one kind of ducked in the corner over here. this small one over here. It really isn't a whole lot. You're right. This one's small. This one's medium, but it's also in this lower area where it's not as convenient. So I might.
That small one behind the point's fine. I think like if you put the big one on the top right, that's fine.
Maybe this one could be bigger, and maybe that could be.
Yeah.
Would that? I'm not sure if that'd be too much or not.
Just you can leave it for now. See what people see.
Yeah. So it's got that ammo. I'm trying to check the ammo situation on the other areas. You got this small here. Oh, this one's a medium in the lobby as well. This one's small. That's not an ammo pack.
Like I said, I don't know. You can just leave it and just see how it playtests. If you finish this version up here, like I could probably get a playtested tonight, but I'm gonna make dinner quick.
Right. This one's medium.
So if you finish this, I can probably get it playtested because I want to get it playtested plus the new workflow as well.
This is the medium one. I was wondering for some reason. Oh.
What were you gonna say?
I was looking at like this whole like square area of the map, and I was like, where was any of the ammo in this? And I realized it was just this one right here. I might want to add another small one somewhere.
Yeah, you definitely want to make that ammo pretty accessible. Can you also, just as a small detail, you know that little hall you have that leads to the Ford spawn and like nothing else?
Are you talking about this one? You talking about this
No.
one?
No, there's like a little hall that on the Ford. There's a Ford spawn by 2 there, and there's like a little hall that leads to the door. Yeah, okay, that door. Can you make it not as long, like from the back? Because that's just like an unnecessary hiding spot.
Are you you're talking about like just this whole section?
No. I'm talking about the. So you're looking at it right now. That hall where the actual respawn door is. You should make it shorter so that it's just like the door there. You know what I mean? Like so it's just
the door. Back to the door. So the door is flush with the wall.
Yeah, almost just a bit, like maybe a bit apart, but just there's a lot of extra space there you don't need, and it kind of looks like a space where you can actually do shit when you can't. And
right.
Like maybe the entrance of the hall could be like labeled better to like with a no sign that like says it's just a Ford, so it makes it obvious that hall's like a Ford spawn door that goes to a Ford spawn door. Do you know what I mean? Because when I was running through the map, I thought that was
another route.
I thought it was another route because it looks like a big open door to a route, right? So maybe you could hang a sign right above it, this like with the no sign on it or some shit, right? Like or like I don't know, maybe some Ford spawn prop or some shit or a spawn or some. I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Like
I'm trying to think like what.
Because I like the little hall and I like that the points like behind, like it's kind of, I like how it is. It's very unique. I just think like there's a lot of extra space in there to hide that you don't need and to jump around in and shit that you don't need.
I can definitely.
Because like,
yeah,
what I'm talking about is mostly like when you walk out of that Ford spawn, you have to check the left of the spawn.
Right.
Which is kind of dumb, in my opinion. Not like that's a stupid thing. I just mean like it just sucks if you had to do that. Because like they could also theoretically spawn camp that way easier, right? Because they could have someone hiding on the left and someone on the right, like spawn camping you. You know what I mean? And then you have to check both sides, and that's almost impossible.
Let me first do something like kind of just adding a bit of geometry to cover up this unnecessary backspace over here, and then
yeah, if you just filled it with shit, like filled it with props and stuff, like that's fine too, or geometry or whatever, right? Like it's just like too much space in there. It makes it look like it's something more than it is.
Right.
Like that hall isn't like, I know people will learn it. So maybe the sign on the outside isn't necessary. Like maybe you can just forget that, but definitely kind of fill up that space a bit for sure.
Let me just make some of these unseeable textures covered up. I got this covered up, and then maybe I can put, I don't know.
I mean, you can use the little space there for like some fucking extra propage and stuff too. You know?
I was thinking of putting another train there, but I feel like considering there's an engine right by, well, I don't know.
You could do something. You'll figure it out. But look, you could use that little space for a prop. Would be fun.
Container. Maybe I can just borrow. Or no, wait. These containers are small. These mercenary park containers. These are the ones I was using at the mid. So that could be like a theme tie-in kind of there.
Yeah, kind of cool.
Very early one, but something.
Okay, I'm gonna go make dinner, but I'll be back in a bit, right?
All right, sick.
You keep doing your thing, bro.
Thanks.
Good work. I'm very excited to play this.
Yeah. Excited to watch people play it.
Peace, 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 peace.
Oh, that's too big. Peace. Oh, hell. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I know I wasn't seeing chat. Where is everyone? Hold up. Yeah. It is hot in here. Apologies for anyone that was watching the stream and trying to use the chat. I was mainly streaming it so that another person that I was just talking with could see it.
User joined your channel.
User has joined my channel. Just make all that front detail. Why not? Do I still need to push the wall forward? Sure. No, I want to select everything. Including this thing. Sure. hold up, what is going on with this wall here? What in the world is going on with this wall? I don't appreciate what you're doing. Fix it. And now we have the hard part, really. The hardest part is copying everything over to a different side. Apparently, this sight line too extreme. There's a shutter there. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You have to be standing in specific spots anyway. Liquid water is the shit. You know what? I am gonna hide a frog. Hey Jimmy, wanna see a frog? Hey Jimmy, wanna see a frog? Hey, Lois. Hey, Lois, you wanna see a frog? There's just a frog back here. He's clipping into the ground. That's not good. Let's make him not do that. Perfect. Now I am gonna poop on the stream for now. I will probably come back another day. Probably streaming more Talos.